As the morning turns over to yet another day here in Maryland, you're watching the 2022 Women's World Lacrosse Championship on ESPN. This is a consolation game from the championship bracket as 5-1 Japan meets the Haudenosaunee for the second time in the tournament. The winner will play tomorrow morning for 5th place against the winner between the Czech Republic and Israel. And with that, good morning and welcome here to Towson. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk. Japan has been the talk of this tournament. They're 5-1. Their lone loss coming 2 nights ago to the United States. But otherwise, they haven't played many close games. They are playing the Haudenosaunee today for the second time in the tournament. They met 9 days ago. 13-8 Japan win, but they're missing 2 key players. The Haudenosaunee feel they've taken a substantial step forward. And also from a confidence standpoint, as we take a look at the highlight players, for Haudenosaunee, they've seen their goalie, Paige Crandall, play so steady. 9 saves in each of the last 2 games against Pool A teams like Australia and Scotland. Her presence has given the rest of the team a chance to settle in against the top competition. And Japan's swarming defensive style, personified by Ai Hirose, a small but feisty lefty defender. She has played in the WPLL, the lone player for Japan to do that. She causes havoc, and she makes you want to stop dodging against her. So Haudenosaunee and Japan meet again with a step towards finishing in 5th place on the line. That's next on ESPN+.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for the sweat, the tears, the pride, and for the celebration we share.
When I reach for a stick, it's like I'm shaking hands with history. Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
It's more than a game to me. It's a gift to be a positive force in young athletes' lives. And I'm thankful I can help the next generation develop a love for the sport.
When I was his age, those moments on the field meant everything. Thank you for giving us a way to stay connected, even as they get older.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
You give me the opportunity to fuel aspirations
and to ignite potential.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better,
Safer.
and wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
For everyone.
It's coming. The world is coming to San Diego. 30 nations, 30 teams. Only one will be crowned world champion. There's nothing like playing for your country. This is the pinnacle of sport. Be here as legacies are forged and history is made.
Twelfth-seeded Haudenosaunee, 9th-seeded Japan here meeting in the championship bracket consolation portion. Let's have a look at our 2 coaches for the Haudenosaunee. This is Elizabeth Bevel. Starred at Cortland as a defender, and she's going into her 4th season coaching Division II Power Lemoyne, where she took them to the NCAA tournament this past spring. And on the left, there's Yoko Shibata. Spent the last 11 years as a college head coach before focusing over the last year to coach Team Japan. Japan in the red on red, white on white for the Haudenosaunee. Off the draw control, and that is ranked in the vicinity of Haudenosaunee, and they'll come up with the game's first possession. And Mia Scanlon. Well, Scanlon up ahead, and in goal it's Runa Fujita for Japan. And for the Haudenosaunee, Mia Scanlon with Taylor Frink. Jalen Jimerson on the attack. Jimerson did not play in the first meeting. That's a big plus for the Haudenosaunee. She's their second leading scorer this tournament with 6 goals, 3 assists. The midfield with Lois Garlow, Jacelyn Lazor, and Winter Jock. And for Japan, joining Ai Hirose in the low D, Narumi Nakui, also Miku Sugaya. As the feed carries through, battle for the ground ball. In position for it was Scanlon, but she got to it late. So Japan, who is particularly against teams not at their level, turned teams over at a very high rate, and they come up with possession. So as they transition ahead, so the two key players on the attack for Japan that are missing today, third and fourth leading scorers, Miho Sakurai and Mio Takahashi. They're both out. Sakurai with 10 and 3, Takahashi 9 and 3, and they both tested positive in the last couple of days for the virus. So Japan having to go a little bit deeper. But they have been a deep and balanced bunch. That's been among the things that have impressed people here about them in Towson, that they're not just about one player or a couple of stars. As Japan will keep possession, so it's Maya Taga with Koko Nakazawa and Miho Sakurai on the attack. Chisa Kobayashi with Mayu Fuji and Kanako Mizuno, the first midfield. And Japan will start the scoring. Well, for Japan, their balance has really shined here throughout the tournament as they get the goal from the wing at Kanako Mizuno. You see the cutter, Mizuno. And what a nice feed that is from Taga. For Japan, the things that have been truly become staples have been off-ball movements, and that is perhaps the thing that they talk about the most in terms of how can they get better and developing a style. I had such a great visit this morning with Yoko Shibata, their head coach, as we see there, about philosophy, and of course making the great point where there's only one ball, the other 9 players all have a role, and for them to move faster, quicker, and relative to the ball, do that at a super high rate as we get movement here off the draw against Japan, against Chisa Kobayashi. And that is part of perhaps the fabric of what has made Japan so tough to handle. Off the possession, the Haudenosaunee turning it over. And up ahead, Kana Kame will look for transition. Japan in that 13-8 win, they were able to get about 4 transition goals that hurt the Haudenosaunee. But here, Haudenosaunee able to get back in and get some defense in front of Paige Crandall. Crandall 5 saves 2 days ago against Australia. And she kept them in the game. Final score was 17-3 against them. But Crandall really shined. Risa Suzuki holds. Sakurai. Suzuki, known for having the best speed on this Japan team. Taga looking to feed, and we get the foul and maybe more. A card coming out against the Haudenosaunee, Lottie Gill. Haudenosaunee, perhaps top defender, is heading off for a 2-minute yellow. So Japan to go to work 6-on-5. Taga. And the skip pass had to be knocked down, and the possession saved by Suzuki. Feed in front, nice touch shot. Taga missed it, she hit the pipe. Just a little quick stick. Possession continues for Japan. Takano, and she'll back it out. And that feed intercepted, stepping into the passing lane beautifully for the Haudenosaunee, Lois Garlow. So here's still some time left on the player down situation for Haudenosaunee. Can they clear? So as they transition, Japan not pressing out. Still some time left on the 6-on-5, and now we have a whistle. And that comes from the far sideline by the scorer's table. And the Haudenosaunee player who picked up the card, Lonnie Gill, came on the field before the 2 minutes had elapsed. So that's a turnover for the Haudenosaunee. Now, that's not an additional yellow, just Japan gets the ball back. So miscommunication over there. So a correction, the penalty resets, so that's an extra 2 minutes of another yellow on the Haudenosaunee. So a substantial mental error. And Japan from the outside as they weave their way through and get a finish. Fuji. Nice fake initially, then continued her dodge all the way to the front to Crandall. 2-0 Japan. So they're able to add one on the woman up situation. Great recognition here from Fuji, recognizing the opening, and with defenders caught in between, trying to cover some range. Fuji with her 6th, and for Team Japan, they have a total of 10 players with 5 or more goals. They've had some lopsided games. 3 times in this tournament have they scored 19 or more goals. And they stand here at 5-1. So they get another possession, and still about 30 seconds remaining on the second yellow on Lonnie Gill. They're non-releasable penalties, so teams can keep scoring. The clock does run, however. Feed into the 11 and shooting space. So the cut coming from the outside from Kanako Mizuno. Crandall will face another 11-meter. Mizuno will turn it down. Taga skips it over the top. Back on the field comes Gill. So we're even 6-on-6. On the drive, just as the yellow had expired, Monica Jones able to curl cut right. She has the goal. Will not count as a player up, but still they're able to execute just at the tail end of the 6-on-5. 3-0 Japan. Monica Jones also up from Japan's U19 team that played so well in Peterborough 3 years ago. So for the Haudenosaunee, they've had really one true possession, but then consecutive yellows, and it's totaled up to 3-0 Japan. And the draw control belongs to Japan again. Three different goal scorers for Japan. Taga off the flip pass, and she'll take the bouncer. Good look from Maya Taga. And one of the leaders on the attack, considered to be the quarterback on the offense. Suzuki, then her skip pass intercepted again Well, stepping into the passing lane for the second time is Lois Garlow. And the outlet ahead for Jalen Jimerson. And the foul. This comes against the Haudenosaunee. So Japan's redefend has been relentless. After the U.S. game, Yoko Shibata commenting about what the experience was like for her team, their takeaways from it. Number one thing, of course, was the speed that the U.S. can play and just how versatile they are 6-on-6 in the attack. They played a lot of defense, and what she took from it in the bigger picture moving forward off of this tournament is that she hopes to change the culture and the thinking offensively for Japan's offense. Having everybody feel like they're going to be a threat offensively 6-on-6. There's the cut, shot missed. And to continue to emphasize that everybody has to think that they're going to be a threat the way the U.S. can play and Canada. Everybody having the mentality that they can score, they can finish against high-quality competition. And then the other thing about changing planes, changing their shots against high-level goalies. They saw Liz Hogan in goal and marveled by her. They're so fundamentally sound, Japan. How can they add more stick fakes, more variety to their shooting, even their shooting distance, to be even more dangerous, to take the next step as a nation in lacrosse, as Takano stepped into the shot and picks up shooting space. Hikari Takano, and off the bouncer, free position for the first time for Japan. So 4-0, Japan turning over Haudenosaunee and benefiting for 4 minutes of player up. And they've got the lead here as we hit a timeout. Haudenosaunee will spend the timeout. You get just 2 timeouts for the game, and an important moment here for Liz Bevel to try to organize before this one gets too far out of hand. Hikari Takano playing in her 3rd World Championships. Japan has a lot of experience on this team too. Japan is in the World Championships for the 8th time. They first played in it when they hosted it in 1997. And Yoko Shibata going through this huddle. She was the head coach at Aoyama Gaokin University, is the head coach there for 11 years. And is also an assistant coach for the 2015 U19, so she's known these players for a long time. Used to be an interpreter and translator working for Nike Japan in marketing, as well as coaching. So she's been involved in the sports world for a long time. So in the first meeting, 9 days ago, June 30th, Mia Scanlon with 3 goals. Jalen Jimerson did not play significant for Haudenosaunee, and Mio Takahashi in COVID protocols, not available today. 3 goals and an assist. So for Japan, it's just been the next player up on the attack that will have to step up. And for Japan, that's among their closest games this year. And you look closer to it, it was 3-3 at the half before Japan pulled away and led 10-6 midway through that 4th quarter. But Haudenosaunee feeling that our team chemistry is a lot better, and we know our personnel so much more, particularly in their 2-man game, and working with Scanlon and Jalen Jimerson, but they just haven't had the ball here to show that. And you could still count just 1 true possession that Haudenosaunee has had, and we're under 3 minutes left, 1st quarter. They'll get the ball here. Allison Trice, who captained the first University of Pittsburgh team this past springtime after playing 4 years at Syracuse, West Genesee product. She drops it off, and Haudenosaunee starts what feels like a critical possession. Scanlon looked across, it carried through, and there was an open cutter there. And that would have been Lazor. And then this feed broken up, and Japan will pick it up, the ground ball for Sakurai, and a chance to transition 2-on-2 if they hurry. Then the feed ahead could not be completed, and the call will go against the Haudenosaunee. Monica Jones was looking to dodge forward, pass behind her. Fuji recovering. Japan will consistently roll out a second midfield. After a series of fakes, Nakazawa did not pull the trigger. Then the feed back to Nakazawa, save made, she got her own rebound. Crandall, a terrific second stop on the doorstep. Remember that save at 4-0. Final minute in the first. Nakazawa got her own rebound. Haudenosaunee now under pressure. Japan looking for another, but the whistle blows the play dead. Look at the rebound. Nakazawa even took a hit after the play. And Haudenosaunee to transition, as we'll hit 30 seconds left. Any whistle will stop the clock in the final 30 seconds of the first 3 quarters and the final 2 minutes of the fourth. Jalen Jimerson working on Hirose. Great matchup there. Taylor Frink, 6 years as an assistant coach at her alma mater at Albany. The pickup by Jimerson, feeding to the crease. Call against Japan. So the stoppage here with 5 seconds. Free position for Haudenosaunee. Narumi Nokui looking to face her first shot. So Fujita waiting. She and Maiko Iwata have split starts this year. And Fujita making the save low, stopping Mia Scanlon. And that's it for the first quarter. Japan with a terrific first 15 minutes. Paige Crandall keeps the score where it is. Haudenosaunee meeting Japan for the second time. Winner to play for 5th place tomorrow. We're back with the second quarter on ESPN+. Ninth-seeded Japan leading 12th-seeded Haudenosaunee here into the champions bracket consolation round 4-0. For the Haudenosaunee, a win here would give them their best finish in the World Championships. Their previous is 7th in 2013, while Japan, should they win, they'll have a chance to play for 5th, which would match their best finish, which came in 2005. That'll take place tomorrow morning. You can watch it here on ESPN+. The winner of this game faces the winner of the Czech Republic and Israel. Well, all things considered for the Haudenosaunee, not bad, 4-0. Japan has had the ball, probably estimate 85% of that opening quarter. And the call here will go against Japan. So a false start against Kobayashi. And the Haudenosaunee with possession. Save made by Runa Fujita on a free position at the final buzzer of the first quarter. But the Haudenosaunee were able to move the ball a lot better in that possession after playing a ton of defense. Lazor the flip pass, Ivy Santana. Garlow moves it along. Santana. Frank is a feeder. Jimerson. Santana. No brush screen there. Frink looked for the skip, now has the cutter, and it could not be completed. Just in and out of the stick of Lois Garlow. And Japan again can push and create transition. Fuji dropping it off, and the pass just away from her teammate. That would have been an open shooting opportunity for Maika Tamura, a defender that joined the play. And the curl behind by Takano, and Japan to work 6-on-6. Some of the great numbers for Japan. They're shooting as a team 54%. Free positions has been all right, 12 of 20. Israel, who we'll see coming up in the next game against Czech Republic, they've been the best team on free position. Off the flip pass, getting inside, that's Mayu Fuji. No help came for Haudenosaunee. And Fuji has her second of the game, 5-0. Simple flip pass, and just able to beat the defender in Beretta Santana. As Santana tried to angle outside, Fuji continued. Fuji up to 7 goals on the tournament. As Risa Suzuki taking the draw for Japan, Haudenosaunee will get the benefit of the call. So Jimerson across. And the main weapons for Haudenosaunee, Jimerson, Frank, Scanlon on the attack. have yet to kind of get themselves, as Liz Bevel called, I think, wanting to see them play fast and loose, try some of their trick shots, play with confidence, have fun. They're nearing the end of the tournament. Tired legs. She doesn't want to see them play tight. Jimerson. Garlow was the roller. There's the save made high on the shot by Scanlon. Runa Fujita got the stick up. Could not control it. Frink the rebound. And a second chance for Haudenosaunee. As Frink worked on Micah Tomura, the defender. So the best look in the 6-on-6 for Haudenosaunee coming there. Lazur. And they look down low for Jimerson. And Haudenosaunee with an unforced error. Just as they started to work the ball around, Japan's frenetic style and how quick they play has been talked about people here on the tournament, of how they'll speed you up. You never quite feel comfortable, or by the time you do, it's too late. As Japan transitions, and as I asked Yoko Shibata what has been Japan's strength through this tournament, she calls it, number one, our fitness level. That they can play at 100% deep into games. And you don't see kind of the mental lapses as much that occur from tired legs, and particularly that gets tested here when you're playing your 7th game in a 9-day period. And a feed in front, and Crandall having to come up with the save. The sneak coming from behind, and Paige Crandall able to have great awareness to get over there. As she outlets, it is Garlow for Haudenosaunee. Will be a senior at Niagara, had a big year this year, 49 goals, 19 assists, as a 2-year starter there on the attack. And one of the captains of Haudenosaunee. There's a feed and a terrific shot. Lazur having to change planes a little bit. Kind of shooting from the hip with a quick stick. Great bit of skill there and a wide shot on the feed by Scanlon. And now the feed to the cutting Winter Jock off of her stick. And look out, here comes Japan. Numbers opening up, and what could be a 6-on-3. Suzuki, as they look to drop it off down low, then the low shot missed, and Haudenosaunee escaping a great look there. That was Taga, the shooter. Haudenosaunee trailing big behind the play by several yards. And perhaps the best example there of fitness level coming into play for Japan. And the other strength that Yoko Shibata felt that she's seen her team have is their off-ball movement that I alluded to earlier in the game. They have truly embraced that idea of never standing still, never ball watching, and understanding that it is a job to move off the ball and a necessary skill. Mizuno goes to the corner. Taga. Kobayashi had it knocked down. Pressure of the ball from Beretta Santana. And Santana all over it. The two sisters on this Haudenosaunee team. Beretta plays at Canisius. So Haudenosaunee able to turn over Japan. Frink will go across. And with Lois Garlow stepping into the box, we'll hit 7 minutes left. Japan 5-0 over Haudenosaunee. The two teams will have another game tomorrow. Garlow Lip pass behind her from Scanlon. The return to Garlow. Looks for a cutter, handcuffs Jimerson, and then it's taken away. Just not enough space there. Japan again. Mizuno. 3-on-3, and she's got players subbing on. Look out, it's a 6-on-3 developing with Haudenosaunee late in the change. Down low it comes, and again, it is Crandall coming up with a stop. She stops Sakurai in a one-on-one doorstep look. Miho Sakurai caught it and tried to beat Crandall high. Nakazawa, true lefty for Japan. As that skip coming from Kobayashi broke it up. While Haudenosaunee defensively have had active sticks. As Midi Fawn Porter looks for the clear. Jimerson pursuing. Porter also does, but it is Japan with the ground ball again. As they outlet and look to run. With 5 minutes to go, and then the recovering defender there by Allison Trice breaks it up. So Haudenosaunee has been able to escape what you might call 2 6-on-3 scenarios for Japan, and even that one was building up into a 4 or even 5-on-3, and it stays at just 5-0.
Don't force nothing. Take care of it, settle. There you go, good job. Good to go, Tamia.
Frink, and she had the cutter. Jimerson just could not catch and cradle enough. It carried through to Fujita. And Japan again looking to burst. Sakurai to the middle it comes. Swung far sideline for Taga. And now Hikari Takano holding with under 4 minutes left. Two goals by Mayu Fuji is the early story here. Quarterbacking from Maya Taga on the attack. And Japan controlling possession. The early storylines emerging in this championship bracket consolation game here this morning from Towson. Taga got it to the outside. Room to maneuver for Fuji. Now for Sakurai. And notice the quick ball movement and very decisive by Japan. Taga look to the back door. Now Suzuki. Flag is out. Suzuki off the whistle to carry in, continues, never shot it, instead left it behind. Suzuki then up top, and it could not be controlled by Fuji, and a rare mistake by Japan on the offensive end. It is Frink for Haudenosaunee that has it. So with 2 minutes left, first half, the Haudenosaunee has improved offensively as we've gone along. They've had one free position chance, That was stopped by Runa Fujita. And some better feeds into the crease, but have still been shut out. Jalen Jimerson. There comes the double. And they'll call the foul on Team Japan. So they get the help defender there in Kanakame. Jalen Jimerson missed the first meeting between these two. A dynamite talent, and Jimerson starts the scoring for Haudenosaunee. One of their captains that played at Syracuse was their leading scorer 3 years ago at the U19s. Just finished up her 4th year at Syracuse, playing 9 games, 3 goals and an assist. And it's 5-1. Great week for the Jimerson family as her sister Allie plays now for Team Canada. She had played for Haudenosaunee back in 2013. Allie Jimerson, one of the starting attackers of Canada, who will play tomorrow. Team Canada and the U.S. will meet again. Allie also played at Syracuse, and they're both very slick players. And look at that there on the sneak. And then Jimerson with the finish. This is against Scotland. Far corner. Series of stick fakes. 5 siblings in the Jimerson family. And both stars out of Lakeshore High School in the Syracuse area. And the stick work that is paramount in the Haudenosaunee community. Haudenosaunee representing the Iroquois Confederacy in international women's lacrosse. Their 4th World Championship appearance. And as Liz Bevel has been, of course, coaching this team now through this cycle, commenting about how the respect for the game is second to none. That behind the scenes, they talk about it often, and they recognize on a daily basis that they are playing for the ones before them that never had a chance to play either organized high school lacrosse, college lacrosse, even on the World Championships, the visibility that the game now gets. And then also for the future generations that aspire to be just like Allie and Jalen Jimerson and the many stars that have come through and are coming through and to represent the Iroquois in Haudenosaunee. Haudenosaunee puts up Paisley Cook on the draw. And she comes up with it, and here comes Trice. Chance to build off of that Jimerson goal. 45 seconds, but the pass from Trice sails. It's backed up by Frink. And what a big goal this could be for the Haudenosaunee. Timia Bomberry on for a midfield run for Haudenosaunee. Scanlon, feed down looking for Jimerson, broken up, and the foul is against Haudenosaunee. That's Ai Hirose with the breakup. Lefty defender, and considered to be the best defender on this Japanese team, and perhaps will get all-world honors for her performance. Transition for Taga, under 10 seconds. Maya Taga continues, and missing off stick side. Japan gets back up, 4 seconds left. Sakurai to restart. And now cutting through, Garlow the breakup before the shot could be taken. Haudenosaunee spent a lot of time on defense in this first half, but yet it is just 5-1. The winner of this game will play for 5th place tomorrow. We're back with highlights and more on ESPN+.
Yo, do you know? I've seen it all before. There goes Tiger, just as sharp from the bending knee. My main man, Money the King. There ain't nothing I ain't seen.
Okay, old school. Have you seen someone ball like Ja Morant? You know you can't. You've never seen anyone like a thing. The point guard queen, Sky, or Chloe Kim. Do you know there's never been anyone else like them? Look, OG, no disrespect. I know you think you've seen everything, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Checkmate.
Every player knows the skills you learn on the field can be the foundation for anything you choose to do in life.
Thank you for the sweat, the tears, the pride, and for the celebration we share.
When I reach for a stick, it's like I'm shaking hands with history. Thank you for connecting me to a greater community.
It's more than a game to me. It's a gift to be a positive force in young athletes' lives. And I'm thankful I can help the next generation develop a love for the sport.
When I was his age, those moments on the field meant everything. Thank you for giving us a way to stay connected, even as they get older.
We're growing beyond goals on the field.
And our futures are united.
Would you give me the opportunity to fuel aspirations
And to ignite potential.
So thank you, Lacrosse.
For inspiring me to be me.
We are better
Safer.
and wiser together.
And we're building a stronger future
For everyone.
5-1 Japan, the 9 seed, seeking to match its best World Championship finish, which came back in 2005, and play for 5th place tomorrow. They've got the lead at the break over Haudenosaunee. We'll show you how they did it. Halftime highlights coming up.
There you go, Paisley.
Well, 9th seeded Japan controlling the scoreboard and possession time as they lead Haudenosaunee here at the break in this championship bracket consolation game winner to play for 5th place tomorrow. Welcome back here to Towson. Ralph Bednarczyk on hand. Well, we saw the skill level, the persistence, and how fundamentally sound Japan is all in that first half as we show you the highlights. They had the 3-0 lead before Haudenosaunee had its second possession. And the great balance scoring throughout. Mayu Fuji, though, has a pair of goals. That came on a player-up situation. Then here, Hikari Takano off free position. And then one more time, Fuji off the flip pass. And then that finish. 5-1 is our score. Runa Fujita has made 3 saves, series of turnovers by Haudenosaunee. We'll see if they can get back in it. It is still just 5-1.
We want the gold medal. We've been dreaming of it our entire lives. But this summer, we want more. We have an opportunity together to change the sport and women's athletics for the better. The eyes of the lacrosse community will be on us. Never has this sport been more popular. Never has this platform been bigger. So what's this about? A team of talented women with a shared goal. Inspiring a new generation, one whose identity is a sense of pride and not a limitation. Relentlessly pursuing equity in our sport and beyond, we want the greatness of all women's athletes to shine. The world will be watching. Let's put on a show. This is more than a medal. Are you with us?
Fasten your seatbelt.
The game you've always loved just found a new gear.
Introducing World Lacrosse Sixes.
It's speed and scoring.
Tempo and transition.
Athleticism and action.
It's big-time energy packed onto a smaller playing surface.
It's the game you've always loved, brought to you at warp speed.
1, 2, 3, whack!
It's lacrosse on the Autobahn.
Don't blink. This is World Lacrosse Sixes.
You're watching the 2022 Women's World Lacrosse Championship on ESPN from Towson University's Johnny Unitas Stadium. 5-1 our score. Japan leading Haudenosaunee. The winner will play for 5th place tomorrow against either the Czech Republic or Israel. Game that'll start at 9:30 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN+. So for Coach Liz Bevel and Haudenosaunee, the numbers are 14-5 shots for Japan. Paige Crandall's made 4 saves. Haudenosaunee actually has the edge 6 out of 8 on draw control, so that's been there. But Haudenosaunee has turned it over 12 times. And that's where it has to begin in terms of cleaning things up, and both in the clear and then in the offensive end, and credit the persistence of the defenders from Japan. And that's what they're known for. They make you a little uncomfortable. And then with the lack of possession time for Haudenosaunee, by the time they got the ball really and settled in, it was already 3-0 against them. So a new half, and all things considered, 5-1 is very much within striking distance for Haudenosaunee. Haudenosaunee able to get here by picking up a substantial upset, a 12-5 upset in the round of 16 over a Pool A team, Scotland, 11-9. And also a 9-6 victory over China as they held off China's comeback late last Friday, July 1st. Japan on the draw. Nakazawa, who plays at the University of Louisville, the first player to play in a high major program like that from the country of Japan. Their coach Scott Teeter has been watching, and they hope that she inspires the next generation to pursue, and also other college coaches to take a hard look at the Team Japan players when the U19s come up the next cycle. Next U19 tournament for the World Championships will be in 2 years, 2024. And the next World Championship on the women's side will be 2026. So World Lacrosse has decided to keep it with a 4-year cycle again. And of course, those locations and dates have still yet to be announced. Fuji at the edge of the fan, and she'll have free position. Fuji taking it across, Crandall again and making the save to the stick side. Well, if Haudenosaunee comes back in this one, you can point to 22 and white as the main reason, regardless of who does the scoring. She's got 5 saves. Trice ahead. Jalen Jimerson, the lone goal for Haudenosaunee. Mia Scanlon, 18-2 through 5 games for this tournament. Jimerson, 6-13 coming in. Garlow, 11-5. The Haudenosaunee have skilled players here on this end. Garlow. Jimerson looks for the rollback, then drew the double, tried to shoot over it. Haudenosaunee having backup. Santana skip pass, and there's Hirose getting a stick on it. And she's lauded for being outstanding both as a one-on-one defender and help defender. Rolling back, Suzuki has Garlow. Garlow with strength, able to fight through a couple of checks. So Haudenosaunee has their first goal, 6-on-6. It's 5-2. So the 2-man game, Scanlon is able to hit the roller, and that is what Haudenosaunee has done effectively in this tournament, particularly between those two. So Scanlon on the dish, starring at Jacksonville this year, and a major career. Mia Scanlon once had a New York State record, 16 goals in a game in high school. 1,000-point score also in basketball, so you could see how that carries over as she hit the cutter there, Garlow. Off the draw, Kobayashi for Japan. Kame outlets for Suzuki. Down to the crease it comes. Japan not wasting any time. Mayataga the shot. Japan again missing 2 of their top 4 leading scorers in Sakurai and Takahashi as they're in protocols. But the depth that they've showcased all tournament long showing itself here. Taga steps into the free position. So she comes up with an immediate answer. A 6-2 game. Taga with now 1-1. Japan 2 for 3 on free position. Japan also plays with great urgency. Now, nothing fancy about that. Crandall has been very good in tight, and she decided to let it go from distance. Trice pursues the draw control for Haudenosaunee. As Haudenosaunee try to rake it forward, swooping in for it is Risa Suzuki. Up ahead, Taga. Japan had the benefit of 4 minutes of a player up situation in the first half. They would tally just 1 goal in that segment, but Haudenosaunee forced to play a ton of defense. Takano worked her way through, and looks like Crandall made another save as it deflected off. Suzuki moves it all the way around. Nakazawa there handling. She was selected to the all-world team for her performance 3 years ago in Peterborough, and that's what got her tremendous recruiting attention. This year, 12 goals, 10 assists at Louisville in her sophomore year. Off the flip pass, it's left by Nakazawa to her teammate for the step down, Risa Suzuki. So the continued cycling for Japan, pretty to watch. 7-2 our score. The defender late getting there, and Suzuki having an open shooting lane. And considered the fastest on this Japan team. That certainly helped create the separation. Japan now 7 of 19 shooting. Trice went up for the draw, and again it's Japan. Well, when you miss that first ground ball against Japan, they're going to pick it up. And now we have a player shaken up, and that's Chisa Kobayashi, who was pursuing it. Now, she was in the collision with Allison Trice. So Japan already missing 2 key players. Kobayashi able to get to her feet and walk over to the bench under her own power. Only 18 players get to dress for these teams. Not every team has the 2 alternates that are allowed. And Japan does, and they were able to activate 2 players. Suzuki. Now the second cutter coming through, and I think attempting the behind the back shot was Monica Jones. And it'll stay here with Japan.
Hold the gap. Hold the gap. Right, come on.
Suzuki tried to go across. And Japan with Sakurai. Good defensive possession for Haudenosaunee. They had cut it to 5-2. The call against Haudenosaunee off ball. So they'll put Jacelyn Lazor back behind an offensive player. Fuji did not like her angle. Patience from Japan again. Jones outside. Suzuki to redodge. Then a skip pass comes through and the collision. Mizuno in a collision. Good skip pass came from Sayaka Higa. And the yellow card out against Haudenosaunee. So Fawn Porter out to try to close out on the shooter, just a bang-bang play. And the collision as Kanaka Mizuno was running on. It'll be free position, followed by 2 minutes on a yellow card, non-releasable. Mizuno will turn it down. Japan 6-on-5 begins. Suzuki into the crease, save made with the stick by Crandall. That was Sayaka Higa, the shooter. Higa's one of those 2 Japan alternates that was added to the active roster a few games ago. Fuji. Suzuki gathering the skip pass. Sakurai, Monica Jones. Fuji, down low it comes. A layup inside. Suzuki, textbook 6-on-5 for Japan. 8-2. And their second player-up goal of the game. Just sharp ball movement all around as it was fired in to the backside. Nice look by Mayu Fuji. And look at the room that Suzuki has. So Risa Suzuki with consecutive goals. And a 3-0 response by Japan just as Haudenosaunee was beginning to change the momentum of this game. Well, Jimerson outside the circle. And the climb for Haudenosaunee has to begin now. We near 2 minutes left, third quarter. Santana, strip, trail check. Risa Suzuki. So the 13th turnover by Haudenosaunee. And if it was the transition goals against Haudenosaunee that hurt them the first meeting 9 days ago, 13-8, that final score. Today it has been turnovers. And spending a lot of time defensively. This pass that Monica Jones will retrieve. And Nakazawa. Kokoro Nakazawa Her dad, Yuji Nakazawa, one of Japan's most famous men's soccer players, a former national team captain. Kokoro also has a younger sister, Nagai. And dad, Yuji, has become a lacrosse coach now at the high school. So imagine that. That would kind of, I guess, be making comparison. Landon Donovan having kids and becoming a high school boys or girls lacrosse coach. And that's what has occurred in the Nakazawa family. Sayaka Higa remains on the attack for Japan. Now she gets the flip pass. And then the rare mistake here by Japan in the 6-on-6. Higa with her pass sailing over the head of her teammate Taga. So Crandall with 20 seconds. And she throws a strike to the far sideline on a rope for Lazor. Chance here for Haudenosaunee, and they'll get the stoppage here. Garlow is tackled, and a yellow is coming out against Japan. So Haudenosaunee able to be aggressive there. And Narumi Nokui will head off. So with 5 seconds left, can Haudenosaunee get one look here? They feed across. Oh, it's in and out of the stick of Scanlon. That could have been huge. They're trying to make it 8-3 and then regroup for a nearly 2-minute player-up situation that is to come at the start of the fourth. Battle to try to play for 5th place tomorrow at stake. 8-2 Japan as we go to the fourth. Ninth seeded Japan leading 12th seeded Haudenosaunee 8-2 as we start the fourth. Ralph Bednarczyk with you. Well, the history of lacrosse in Japan is fascinating and it goes very deep. And Johns Hopkins has had a great impact on it, as we are here, of course, in Towson, Maryland. Back in April of 1986, a few Keio University students visited the U.S. Embassy, and they were interested in the game at the time. And at the time, Johns Hopkins Director of Athletics Bob Scott donated sticks to Japan. And the following year in 87, the Japanese Lacrosse Association was formed. Then in 87, Don Zimmerman, longtime Johns Hopkins head coach in UMBC, he held the first lacrosse camp ever in Japan. And then in 1988, they had their first game there as Keio University participated in, losing to Yokota. Keio was the first university to have lacrosse. The second was the University of Tokyo. And they would continue on building from there. Their U19 men participated in the 1992 championships. The women first competing in 1993, the men in 1994. And the growth of the game continues to come along with some great stories I'll share. Fourth quarter underway, and Haudenosaunee with a critical 6-on-5 here. And because it's continuous clock, but non-releasable, a chance to get multiple goals. This pass away from Frink. She'll recover. Jimerson looked to the back post, feed into the crease for Frink, off of her stick. And Haudenosaunee has just not looked super crisp today on the offensive end. Japan comes up with a clear, and they have a chance to push some numbers. 3-on-3, down a player. And now we are all even. Here comes Taga. Taga down low, in tight, it's buried. Devastating goal against Haudenosaunee. Kokoro Nakazawa comes up with it off the curl cut, and just seconds after Japan, player down is able to eliminate the time. Then they come up with a goal. Nakazawa from Tago. Nakazawa was in middle school when she first took up lacrosse, and she attended one of the few middle schools that had lacrosse. It still has not occurred there, and then started to continue at Nihon University Senior High School, where she was the MVP there. 3 high school championships that she won, and she started to think about playing lacrosse in the United States in either 8th or 9th grade, watching ESPN Plus coverage, I'm sure, and YouTube. And then once she was selected to Team Japan, Scott Teeter with Team Canada ahead of that U19 World Cup, as teams will play scrimmages against each other, particularly when you're not in the same pool a few days before. And Scott Teeter faced Japan, and he recognized her as a real talent. And he saw her again about a year later and recruited her in the winter of 2020. Taga is fouled as she darted across. And as Scott Teeter has talked about it, that he wanted to be the first of perhaps finding a generational type talent from another country other than Canada and the US. Taga, and she'll shoot, and she tucks it inside the post. A standing shot from Maya Taga with precision. That deserves a big smile. 10-2. Now she has Crandall leaning and a bit fooled. 2-2 for Maya Taga. So Jimerson controlling. 5 minutes gone in the fourth quarter. Haudenosaunee has had chances to climb back into this game. And trailed 5-0. Made it 5-1 at halftime. And you felt like if they had a burst in them, they'd be very much in this game. But Japan has carried over what we saw in the first half here into the second. Flip pass to from Scanlon as she looked for the cutting Ivy Santana, and that's broken up. As Japan transitions, and then that pass is through the attacker there in Sakurai. Taga recovered it in the corner. A Lois Garlow goal that started the third quarter scoring and made it 5-2. And even at that point, Haudenosaunee very much, you could tell from their body language, they started to believe they can get back in this game. But Japan has rattled off 5 straight. And the Maya Taga free position just on the very next possession, as Japan wasted no time. And then Nakazawa feeding Suzuki, and a nice drive. Suzuki from Fuji on the next goal. And they have continued that. And now a feed into the crease from Nakazawa. And turning and scoring is Mizuno. 11-2. That's a good look while on the move from Nakazawa. So Mizuno with 2 up to 8 for the tournament. And talking more about the history of Japan lacrosse and how that's continued to evolve. As those players started playing in the early 2000s and really through the 90s, again, that first women's national team competed in 1993, the men in 1994. The high school game has blown up, and now Japan, you're starting to see little kids at games with sticks for the first time. And the sons and daughters of college players back then in the late 90s, early 2000s are starting to be players at the high school level. So the youth system is there. And Japan is on the verge of having their first ever second generation national team player. And on the next U19 roster, it appears that they'll have a player that had a parent that played for one of the earliest versions of the national team. So that is super exciting to see a country that now has that next generation. Sweden having that right now. Taking it across there, Sakurai holds the shot. Fuji will go outside here for Risa Suzuki. Sweden having 51-year-old pioneer and the icon in the sport of women's lacrosse in Europe, Tekla Jackson. Her daughter, Shella, 15 years old, is playing with the Sweden's national team. Just a great story that's been talked about and observed here. Haudenosaunee commits the foul. Kana Kame, free position up top. She'll turn it down. Japan will run some more clock here. Under 6 minutes left. More crisp ball movement results in the dodge right down the middle. Risa Suzuki. She's got 3 for the game, 12-2 Japan. They have simply attacked gaps whenever they've wanted to. They've looked so comfortable offensively. And with a timeout on the field, Suzuki gets her 3rd. And Japan could start to think about playing for 5th place tomorrow. So for Team Japan, to reset here against either Czech Republic or Israel. And those teams having, certainly for Israel, a physical presence, and U.S. college players, just like Liz Bevel's Haudenosaunee team has. But that hasn't mattered. Japan has just not been bothered or flustered on the offensive end. They are shooting 12 for 25 in this game, so that'll be tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Japan, 5:35 away from advancing. And the next game coming up, fascinating. I can't wait to see Israel and the Czech Republic, a 6 versus 10 matchup. Israel falling to England and the Czech Republic falling to Canada 14-7. And the gold medal game is set, as well as the bronze medal game. It will be Canada and the U.S. when they met in the very opening game after the opening ceremonies, June 29th. 16-11 the U.S. defeated Canada, but that was a 12-10 game early fourth quarter as Canada was able to rally back. And then Australia versus England, the bronze medal match you can watch as well, both of them on ESPN2 tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and then at noon. And we hope that you will be with us here at Towson University. And look, the rematches, there's always going to be, particularly when you're U.S. and Canada, or Jenny Levy and of the U.S., Scott Teeter of Canada, you know that they have to hold back and not show their full hand because of the tremendous likelihood that was always going to be that those two would see one another in terms of adjustments. And then teams change 10 days later when they end up playing a total of 7 games. So for the 8th game, particularly some of the young players will evolve. Injuries occur. Good news for Canada, Kay Morissette, their outstanding draw controller. She returned and played last night for Canada against England. She had turned her ankle a couple days ago against the Czech Republic in a quarterfinal game, so that is of significance. But it should be an awesome one. I wonder about the weather. Have not seen if it's going to be super hot or not. And it's actually supposed to be raining, I'm told. Great job again by our producer, Mr. Adam Teeter, who has been listening to me for many, many hours. 4:50 left, so that could have a factor, but otherwise, what a tremendous battle of athleticism and a chess match within the athletes that will take the field tomorrow. Free position for Haudenosaunee and Jalen Jimerson. Jimerson fires and scores. She beats the new goalie in for Japan, Maiko Iwata, replacing the starter Runa Fujita, and Jimerson ends that run of 7 straight for Japan. So she's got 2 on free position today. And then don't forget about the bronze medal match, because Australia, and despite getting blown out for the 2nd time by the U.S. yesterday, and we saw them, I think, see their younger players play very well against the likes of Ireland. Haudenosaunee gain a lot of confidence. Georgia Latch only going into her sophomore year at Loyola, as they will take on England. And England was so motivated with their goal that was set out to at least reach the gold medal match and have a silver in their back pocket. And how will they come out, particularly 24 hours later? But they have veterans like Laura Merrifield, perhaps playing in her final World Championship. That will certainly motivate them. And it is indeed a medal that you can take home with you. Garlow, Scanlon, rolling into the 11 as this one bounces around and it pops right back up to Jacelyn Lazor, who scores into the vacated net. So Iwata had come out to try to help on that ground ball. And onto the empty cage, Lazor has the goal, 12-4. Jacelyn Lazor plays at Virginia Tech from Hogansburg, New York. Let's see how this occurred. She was able to grab it. She plays attack at Virginia Tech, midfield here for Haudenosaunee. So Lazor playing 3 games this past spring at Virginia Tech. She'll be a senior there, and she is off the St. Regis Mohawk Reservation on the Canadian border on the U.S. side. Jimerson comes up with it, under 2 minutes to go. Garlow smothered. And yet another pretty close to perfect performance by Japan here. Coach Yoko Shibata felt that probably their best game was a 12-3 victory over New Zealand. Iwata came out, the feed across, and the great find, Santana was able to pass, and Haudenosaunee adds another goal. That's Lois Garlow. You'll see Maiko Iwata, the goalie, have a beat on the next pass. Gambling there, and then could not get back across. Garlow makes it 12-5. But for Japan in that 12-3 victory over New Zealand, who's coming up tonight against Puerto Rico. New Zealand having their hearts broken yesterday as they lost essentially at the buzzer, 2 seconds left. A Zoe Dixon goal of Scotland finished that game, while New Zealand had a chance to shoot for the victory in the final seconds themselves. The other way, Nakazawa tried to go behind the back. Backup belongs to Haudenosaunee. And that's New Zealand, Puerto Rico coming up at 5 o'clock in an interesting game. Puerto Rico falling yesterday to Wales. Santana stripped and then takes it back. Haudenosaunee still with just 10 shots. Make this one 11. Jalen Jimerson. So that's 4 straight. And this will ultimately change the final score in terms of the way it looks. But it has been a phenomenal performance today by Japan. Three for Jimerson in the losing effort, with Garlow on the assist. And into the finale tomorrow, if it's Czech Republic, and that'll be a game with a lot of slick stick skills from both sides. And if it is Israel, Haudenosaunee will have to find a way to get the draw controls close to 50-50 against Lindsay McCone and Ali Bernard of Israel on the circle. Both of them either inside the circle or on it have been among the best players in that category here at the World Championships. Draw control here to Japan, where that number is 12-10 Haudenosaunee. Nakazawa cannot bring it in. But 16 Haudenosaunee turnovers, that tells the biggest story numerically. Japan led 4-0 after 1, built up a 5-2 lead. Mayu Fuji, 2 goals and an assist among those first 5, and Japan has really never looked back. Jimerson turns and shoots. Iwata making a save. and it's another convincing performance by Japan at the World Championships. 12-6 is the final score. Japan 6-1 here at Towson, and they will play for 5th place tomorrow morning against either Israel or the Czech Republic. Japan will have a chance to match their best ever finish, which came in 2005 as a 5th place team, but now in a 29-team bracket. You could certainly look at it and say this is the greatest women's team Japan has ever produced. 12-6 is our final score for our entire crew, including our director, Sydney Boxall, our producer, Adam Teeter. My name is Ralph Bednarczyk, saying so long and goodbye here from Towson University, the site of the 2022 Women's World Lacrosse Championship on ESPN+.